Welcome back, viewers. Sorry for that technical hitch. So we are having a chat with Chairman of Primetime Limited, Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you, Isaac.
Yes, please. So, sir was telling us the origination of the National Science and Maths quiz on the tennis court. The fact that he had actually submitted a proposal to Liver Brothers, and they had actually accepted. So, sir was telling us that the name of the Brilliant Science and Maths quiz rhymed with the brilliant soap that Liver Brothers had brought on the market at that time. Sir, please, we are all ears.
Yes, okay. So, Brilliant Soap was the sponsoring brand for Liver Brothers. Then we had to get a hostess or a host. And I was telling you earlier, I had to talk to Marianne after tennis one Saturday evening. We were sitting at Commonwealth Hall, senior common room, having a drink. Then I broached the topic to her. And she said, "Why me? I am not a TV personality. I'm not a TV person. And I don't think I'll be able to handle a program on television." And I said, "You haven't tried it yet. So try." And I said, "I'm picking you because you are a female scientist. You are a PhD holder. You are a senior lecturer at the university. And I think you'll make a good role model for the girls out there. I want the girls to know that it's not only boys who study science, and that they can go as high as possible, as far as possible in science." Well, fortunately, I managed to convince her. And I went back to Liver Brothers and told them that Dr. Marianne Addy had agreed to be our hostess for the program. Fortunately, Mr. Benjamin knew of her. And so he said, "Oh, that will be fine. That's nice." That is how we started with Marianne. And Marianne became the face of the Science and Maths quiz. Now, the next thing was to find those who would write the questions, the consultants. And between Dr. Awotri and myself, we talked to people we knew. Dr. Adanu, later Professor Kobna Adanu, for physics. He Awotri himself for biology. Professor Asmani for chemistry. And for Professor Asmani, it's a very interesting story. When I was on campus, when I was a student leader, I was JCR president. Professor Asmani was my senior tutor at Legon Hall. And I was quite troublesome. Student leaders believe that militancy was the way to go. So Prof. Asmani and I used to have a lot of arguments and encounters here and there. So when our trade mentioned Prof. Asmani, I said, well, ask him if he'll be willing to work with me. He doesn't bear any grudge against me. And when he asked Prof. Asmani, he said the same thing. If Kwaku will be willing to work with me, because we've had arguments before and all that. And I said, well, we've agreed. So Professor Asmani became our chemistry consultant. Then mathematics problem. So I turned to Achimota School, where I knew Mrs. Kwaku, maths department. So I went and talked to her and then asked if she would be willing to do the questions for us while we look for a permanent consultant. So she did the first year questions. Then we got in touch with Dr. Douglas Edujemfi, and he agreed. So subsequently, Dr. Edujemfi became the mass consultant. So we got our team of consultants, and Marianne was quiz mistress and moderator for the group. So then I had to go to GES. We've got a program, but I had to have a program to show to them. And at that time, Alhaji Badamosi was the Director General GES. Mr. Alex Tete Enyo was Director Secondary Education. So I went to Alhaji Badamosi. Then he called Mr. Tete Enyo. We had a good chat. He said, I'm leaving you in his hands. So discuss the program with Mr. Tete Enyo and then go ahead. Mr. Tete Enyo was very, 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 very happy with the program, very enthusiastic. And between the two of us, we selected the first set of schools to take part in the program. Now, what we did was we had a northern sector and a southern sector. And started with the southern sector, which was all the schools coming down from the Kwahu to Accra and Volta region, Western region, Central. And then the northern sector, Ashanti, Buno Ahafo then, northern region, Upper East and Upper West. So we started with the first set, which was southern sector. 16 schools to compete. And we had to do a proper launch of the program, which was done at the UAC training school at the Ridge. Then we did the balloting straight away from there. And that was in September 1993. And we rolled the first competition in October 1993. Now, one of the interesting things that came out of the balloting for the first were paired against GSCS. And the headmistress of a girl said, why did you do this to us? Now, this is a science and technical school. And that's the boys are good. And then you pair them against my girls. So I said, Madam, they are writing the same exams, aren't they? They're writing the same exams. There are no fresh questions for different questions for the girls. And I'm sure the girls will do very well. Well, when they met GSCS, there was this girl, Daniel Hosi, who took the whole school on, along with her. And what they did to GSCS was very, 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 very interesting. That they actually beat them properly. Now, the other interesting ones were um, Pando, Pando Secondary School against Bishop Herman. And the two are from the same town. Okay, Bishop Herman and Pando. And some friends of mine who were old boys of Bishop Herman were wondering how we could be so uh, unfeeling as to match Pando Secondary School against them. That they were sure that after the competition, Pando Secondary School would not feel like taking part in any competition again. Again, the story is like Aburi Girls and GSTS. Pando Secondary School gave Bishop Herman a sound thrashing. The third one was third interesting one was Presec against Koforidua Pope Jones. Now the Pope Jones headmaster used to be the answer headmaster for Presec. So he sent them a warning that I am here and we will beat you, which was exactly what happened. So we had very interesting competitions, in the southern sector program. And those days we used to record at the Ghana Film Industry Corporation. Their their theater, which is now TV3. That was where we did the recordings for the first year. So we had the first 16 um, competitions, and Achimota School won the Southern Sector competition. And then we had to go to Kumasi for Northern competition, the Northern Sector competition. And again, very interesting results. Some were not too good. I remember St. Monica's against Prempe. First round of the competition, St. Monica's hadn't made any point at all. And they were even afraid to answer questions or reluctant to answer questions. So during the break, I went to them and I said, Girls, are you telling me that you do not know any of the answers to the questions that have been asked? And you are supposed to be in third year. I said, Oh, timid. He said, Oh, sir, we know the answers. So why haven't you been answering? Sir, we are feeling shy. Marian was quite upset because Marian Adi's school was St. Monica's. So when we finished the competition, the Northern Sector competition, which was won by Prempeh College anyway, I had to drive her to Mampong to go to the school to see the headmistress. Unfortunately, she wasn't there, but she made her as a headmistress and asked her, "Why are you producing timid students?" Well, that was one of the interesting points in the National Science and Maths quiz. So we finished with Northern Sector as well. Prepare won. Then we had to do the Champion of Champions. Prempeh against Achimota School. Achimota had two boys and a girl. Prempeh, of course, had their three boys. Achimota fielded Philip Osafo Kwaku, and then there was another Philip. Um, I think Philip Nyako or something. Yes. And the girl, unfortunately, I've forgotten her name. And then Prempeh fielded Osayajiman, Johnny Soboti. And the third one that I also have forgotten who he was. Very interesting finals. Very, very, and Prempeh won. So Prempeh became our first champion of champions. And we continued with this format of Southern Sector and Northern Sector for a few more years. Then in 96, thereabouts, is 1996. Wesley girls were meeting um, Holy Child. That competition was held at the University of Ghana Great Hall. And the daughter of the head of state, now Dr. Zaneto, came to support his school. And they beat Holy Child. And apparently, she took them home. Her mother hosted them. And going back, she decided to join the school bus. And they had a problem on the way. So they got to school very late. And the Minister for Education then, Honorable Harry Sawyer, somehow heard about this mishap on the way. And of course, it caused security problems because the head of state's daughter was in the bus. And Mrs. Achambon, may she rest in peace, headmistress, actually couldn't sleep that night because she was waiting for her girls. So the following day, she called me. Apparently, the minister had called me to inquire why a competition between Wesley girls and Holy Child should be held in Accra. So she directed them to me, to my office. And I had a call from the minister's office. Very interesting conversation. Why should I organize a competition between Holy Child and Wesley girls in Accra? I explained to him that, sir, it wasn't just Holy Child and Wesley girls. We had 3 programs for that day, 3 competitions. So all the schools, the 6 schools came to Accra, and then everyone had their turn and then went away. And I assured him that Wesley Girls and Holy Child program came on not in the evening. So I was surprised to hear that Wesley Girls didn't get back to school to the late in the night or wee hours of the morning. And he said something very interesting. He said, I have every right to cancel your program. And I said, sir, with all due respect, you can't cancel the program. They said, what? What did you say? I said, this is a private initiative, and I don't think that it will be proper to cancel it. We will see what we can do. He said, from this year, don't bring the girls from all over, and then find a way of hosting them all in Accra. I said, we'll do that, sir. And that is how come we stopped northern sector and southern sector. So the following year, we got all the schools together. Lever Brothers were willing to pay. And I invited the Minister for Education, Honorable Harry Sawyer, to the finals. He had actually sent me word that he wanted to be at the finals, wanted to see the finals, that he had been following the program every Saturday on television. What else could I say? Very, very happy. And sent him an invitation. He traveled, but came back a day before the program, and he was at the finals. So we got the minister's blessing for the program. What else is interesting about the program as we're going along? Let me see. Let me try.
It's been amazing. It's actually wonderful how you are able to give a chronological account of everything that transpired, even some contest and even some contestants' names. Some of us we've even forgotten the contestants that were nominated last
Yes,
uh,
yes,
time.
yes,
It's beautiful. So it
yes.
means that according to your accounts, contrary to previous accounts, Professor Ramadi was not necessarily on the field that day, but was later consulted.
Oh, she was. Let me. Well, I believe she was on the field that day, but she wasn't the one that I was dealing with. It was our tree.
All right. Yeah.
She was brought in when Liver Brothers had agreed to sponsor the program. Then I needed somebody to host it. That is how come Marian came.
It's amazing that even the first flight of the program could get the minister to attend the grand finale. We and then you had spoken of the fact that it was being aired on television on GTV at the time, and the minister had been following keenly on television. We didn't get that
Yes.
part.
Well, when we invited him, let me go back a bit. When I had that interaction with him about the Wesley Girls Holy Child issue, and then he said, well, he had been watching the program and he liked it and wanted to come to the finals. That year, he traveled and couldn't get back early. So the following year, he sent me word that he would be at the program, that he was going to travel again, but he'll be back a day or two before the finals. And he did. He was there. You know. Now, one of the problems we had also was with GBC. GBC that was the only place where we could plan it, and we were paying for it. Originally, the program started on Wednesdays. It was running on Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock. 5 to 6. And I think after the fourth week or so, the Director General then, Mr. David Anaglati, later to be Ambassador Anaglati, called me, summoned me to his office and said, you can't have my prime time for your program. Then he smiled and said, of course, your company name is Prime Time, but prime time for GBC is not your prime time. And it was on a Wednesday morning, and the program was supposed to come on in the evening. He said he was changing the time. Then the commercial director was there, Mr. Totolai. He said, what time can you give him? So Mr. Lai said, well, I have Saturday 11 o'clock if he wants it. I said, give me 2-3 hours. I have to rush to Tema to discuss with Liver Brothers because they were expecting to see the program this evening on television as always. So I had to rush to Tema, had a discussion with them. Those days, there were no mobile phones, so I couldn't have just called to discuss it. Yeah. So I had to drive to Tema and had to explain to Martin and then the branch manager for the soap line, who was Mr. Echikwam. Well, what could we do? So they agreed, and I rushed back to the GBC. It was about 2 o'clock. I said, we are going on Saturday morning at 11. Period. So from that time, Saturday at 11 a.m. And the 11 a.m. was to allow the students enough time to do their Saturday morning chores at school, and then have time to watch the program. So one of the challenges that we faced early in the program was this one. Um, Challenges, there have been many, many, mostly financial. You know,
Right. But
in
before we come to the challenges, which is a whole thing on its own, we know that when you started, you actually started small. So when was the first time that you actually felt that this idea could go beyond that one-time experiment to become a national institution on its own as we have now?
well, I don't think that I had it in mind that it would be a one-off show. No, we I envisaged that this program would run, and even to involve schools in West Africa. And for your information, in 2007, we had the first edition and the only edition of the West Africa competition. And that was after 4 years of negotiating with Exams Council as to be the sponsors. And then finally they approved, and then we had the first competition. So it wasn't supposed to end at 1 year. It was supposed to go on and on. That is why when I told Marian that I wanted her to be the face of the program, I said, I want you to be a role model to the girls in secondary school so that they would take to science and maths. And if it was just one of them, then there was no impact at all. So it was supposed to go on. It wasn't to end after the
In
first
one of
time.
we just wanted to know that there was this particular time that you knew that this is big, even bigger, because what we see today, the NSMQ that we have today, it's a national treasure. Like it's something that everybody looks up to yearly. But I believe that even when you were starting, I know that you get mesmerized, you get overwhelmed sometimes. That even when you were starting, the idea, how you wanted it to go, I believe we all believe that superseded the notion of starting something, a national movement, and how it has turned out to be today. When was that particular time that you saw that, oh, I pick it, like this is it, it is going to it go as we envisioned?
Well, as I said, I didn't expect it to end. I didn't expect it to end. So when we lost sponsorship, we had to fight to get back, you know, because I knew that it had the potential to grow into something very big, where all schools would be looking forward to it. We started with 16 schools for the first um, competition, the maiden one, southern sector, and then 16 schools, northern sector. And then went on to 40 schools. So it was building up. And we kept at 40 for a while before we really opened it up because of the funding, the sponsorship that came in, you know. Um, I was going to tell you about one of the problems that we had with sponsorship.
You're right.
In
Sure.
1990, in 1998, we were doing the program really around Easter because the academic year then started from January to December, before it reverted to September. It was January to September to December. So 1998, we were we were then doing the program at Presec. The schools were supposed to come in on Holy Saturday and then settle down by now Thursday before Good Friday. At about 4 o'clock, I got a fax message from Now it was Unilever, the marketing director's office. Now we had a few um, interactions with the marketing director then, who was a Scotsman, Roy, Roy Williams, I think. And Roy had said that he had been brought to Ghana to Unilever to produce soaps and other detergents, toothpaste, personal care, and food items, and sell and make a profit for the company, and not to sponsor education. That wasn't his mandate. So he was cancelling it, and some of the big men in Unilever at that time prevailed upon him, but he didn't give in. So Monday, Thursday, around 4 o'clock, thereabout, then I got a call. I got a fax from Unilever that they had withdrawn from the program. And I said, what? And this program is supposed to start next week. That the schools were coming in. In fact, that day, Navrongo Secondary School and Boku Secondary School and Wa had set off for Accra for the competition. There was
Even
no way we could stop
accommodation.
them.
So it meant that even accommodation had been arranged at Presec.
I present everything. And the set was, we were actually constructing the set that day. So there was I at my desk, and the fax came in. I looked at it, and I said, Lord help me. That was what I said. Then I got a call from the university um, hospital. My nephew, who had been brought from London, who had come in only 3 weeks earlier, had fallen sick. That morning, he wasn't feeling too well, and I took him to the hospital. And my wife was checking on him. The message was that his condition had gotten worse, that I needed to come and take him to Kolebu. And this was just about 15 minutes after I'd received this message. So I jumped into my car, straight to Legon Hospital. Got there about 6:30, and they had arranged an ambulance. So we took the boy to Kolebu. And that was when, that was the only thing that took my mind off National Science and Maths quiz. Because, I mean, the day before you were to receive the schools, the program had been cancelled. That was a very tough one. So this boy's condition actually took my mind off it. And we went to Kolebu. And so many things happened even in Kolebu. They said he needs to have surgery almost immediately because it was appendicitis, which was about to rupture or whatever. And the senior nurse on duty asked me, do you know a surgeon around? I said, oh yes, I have one in my Lions Club. I said, please go get him. I got down, got into my car, started the car wouldn't start. I was sweating, tried everything, and then the senior nurse, I don't know where she was going, she came down and then saw me, said, sir, you are still here? I said, yes, my car won't start. Said, where are you going? Which doctor? And I mentioned. He said, okay, You can have my car. I'm not sure there's enough fuel to take you back, but you can have my car. I thanked her, took the car. Just across, there was a petrol station, bought petrol, went to my friend's house. And they So Ben had gone to Ada for Easter, and I asked his daughter, "Do you know where I can find Professor Hess?" He said, "Oh, Uncle, let's go." So we went to Professor Hess's house. Got there just in time. They were good. He said, "Miss, what brings you here?" Sorry. I said, "Okay." Reverend Prof told Reverend Mrs. Hesse, "If I go with him, now go on to church." So we went to the hospital. Long and short of it all is that we were able to save the boy. And then I got back home at 2 a.m. and I lived in Ashanipotri. And I had to bring the boy since to Kolebu in the morning. And then back to Presec. Then the schools had started arriving. We had no money. So I had to go into a deal with the Presec, the headmaster. Said, "I'm going to try and find money." Fortunately, we had a little payment from South. I said, "Put it all into the science and maths quiz." On Monday, Easter Monday, we did the balloting. And straight away we went into production. When we finished producing and we were going to edit before going on air, I rushed to Kumasi Brewery. At that time, Son Benjamin had become the managing director of Kumasi Brewery. So I told him, "Martin, the program we started, this is what has happened. I need sponsorship. I know you are a brewery, but you also produce Amstel Malta." He said, "Give me a few minutes." And then spoke with his chairman, Mr. Ishmael Hampson, and he approved. So I came back and we finished the program, and Amstel Malta sponsored that year, and I think 2 or 3 more years until Kumasi Brewery itself was taken over by um, Guinness. They became Ghana Breweries Limited. So the saga of the National Science and Maths Quiz, that was the point where I changed the name from
Brilliant.
Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz to National Science and Maths Quiz, because we had lost the Brilliant sponsorship. And I couldn't go to anybody with a program called Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz for sponsorship. So I said we will change the name to the National Science and Maths Quiz. At that time, the set had been done as Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz. And I said, bring down the flags. And throughout the night, we got it done. Redesigned the logo and then put it up there. So again, the National Science and Maths Quiz, that was saga. So that was when National Science and Maths Quiz came into being. That was 1998.
Okay. So it meant that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it meant that that particular year that Brilliant withdrew their sponsorship, the program still produced under the Brilliant name.
No,
Right.
we changed it immediately to the National Science and Maths Quiz. Immediately.
And got sponsorship before it was aired.
Excuse me?
And got sponsorship before it was aired.
Yeah, we got Amstel Malta I told you I went to Kumasi to talk to Kumasi Brewery to sponsor it with Amstel Malta. So we came back with the National Science and Maths quiz. You know, Amstel National Science and Maths quiz. That was how we called it. So Amstel took it up when Kumasi Breweries became Ghana Breweries Limited. It was the same Amstel, Amstel, Amstel Malta. And then Guinness Ghana Limited took over um, Ghana Breweries, and the program was suspended. Again, the management decided that theirs was not to sponsor education, but to produce their beverages. So we lost sponsorship for the second time. And again, it was just about the time we were going to produce. Then I went to the GS. At that
Is this
time,
around? Okay.
excuse
Is
me,
this around 2010, 2011, or before?
no, no, this was before.
Oh,
This
right,
was before. This
right.
was 2000 and 2001
Oh, wow, wow. Way
or
before.
2000, yeah, 2000, 2000, yeah, 2000, 2000. Reverend Afoble then was Director of Secondary Education, and Professor Christopher Mayao Ekunfi was the Director General, and he is a scientist, and Reverend Afoble too, a scientist. So I went to them with my problem, and Reverend Afoble spoke highly of the program, and so um, then we had to take the AMCEL off and make it National Science and Maths quiz. And Professor Abekunfi decided that he would ask the GES to take over the feeding costs for the students and then the transportation and all that. So GES took over. Fortunately, a year later, he became the Minister for Education. And then he passed it on to Get Fund. Get Fund took up the sponsorship until 2008. 2008, when the government changed hands, and we lost the sponsorship. Now, we hadn't been paid for, I think, 2006 or 2007 or something like that. And we made representations to the Ministry of Education. Fortunately, Mr. Tetenyo, who was part of the beginning of the program, had become Minister for Education. However, it wasn't possible for them to take over the program. And so 2007, 2008, the program was supposed to go off from 2009. Primetime decided that we were not going to allow the program to die off. So while looking for sponsorship, we paid for the program. We paid all the expenses for the program in 2009. We are still owed for 2008. I don't know how we're ever going to get that money. So 2009, we paid. In 2010, we couldn't. So 2010, 2010, 2011, the program didn't come because of 2 years. Now, I was on the University of Ghana Council when the program went off. The charts, that's the conference of heads of
Conference of Heads of
secondary school.
Assistance.
The
Sure.
president, yeah, Mr. At that time was Mr. Ufureji, headmaster of Accra, a member of the University Council representing Charles. And he was quite upset that the program had been taken off. He wasn't happy. So one of those days after a council meeting, and I drew him aside and said, I've been thinking, we can get the program back. A lot of schools have been asking. Now what we could do is, if Charles can take over the program and levy the students to pay for it, we'll be able to bring it back. And he said, that's a good idea, but Charles levy is GES council that gives the approval. So we made a proposal, went to GES. At that time, Miss Nana Baini was the acting director general. So, and Nana was also a scientist, fortunately, just like the director general before her, Mr. Samuel Mensa. So Nana said, okay, he would make a case for us at the council meeting. And fortunately, the council approved for the for the levy to be imposed on the schools. So the parents were to pay 1 cedi a term, 1 cedi a term, towards the science and maths quiz. Some schools were charging 3 cedis a term per student. Then the following year, GES decided that the schools should pay 5 cedis per term. Now, what happened? What the arrangement was that these monies would be paid to Charles, not to us, to Charles, and then we would send our bills to Charles, who would then pay. So that is how we got the program back in 2012. So it was decided that if every child is going to pay, every student is going to pay for the program, then it didn't make any sense selecting schools to come to the program. So we had to open it up. So from 40, we went to 81 competitions, and then to 3 schools per program. The following year, I handed them over to the NSMQ, and so then some innovations came in. We had to do regional competitions so that every school would be able to take part. For as long as you are in secondary school, and then you are supposed to be paying to Charles, you will take part in the competition. Then we expanded again, now to every school, and we needed to take 135 schools into the final competition. So we went to every region to organize regional competitions, which is what the format has been up to today. So from 2013 or 2014, every school has had the opportunity to participate. Some don't come in. I remember one of those years we were in Kumasi. Some schools were supposed to come in, we were balloting, and they were called and said, "Oh, we've set off, we are coming." This was 2015 or 2016, and I don't know if they're still on the road because they never turned up. Some schools didn't turn up. Yeah, they don't turn up for the competition, even though they qualified to do it. And so we had to reorganize the competition, the format, the content, and all that. Yeah. So that has been the story so far. There are bits and that can be added, but let me know exactly what else you want
Right. It's
us
been
to.
beautiful. We are all consumed in the story. It's beautiful. You don't get to hear these from anywhere. That's why we are quiet listening as we are supposed to. So you mentioned that you handed over management of the program and then Primetime Limited to Nanekia. Could you, yes,
Yes.
please, could you kindly walk us through what inspired this transition?
Well, you know, the company had to grow. The program had to grow.
Right.
I had looked at it, had worked on it, built it up to a certain point, and I thought that it was time to retire, stay back, fresh minds, fresh ideas. And you can agree, you'd agree that there have been fresh ideas almost every year, something new. And then they brought in social media. Fortunately, social media had then just come in. When we started the program, and for all those years, there was something like social media. There wasn't the internet. Okay, so the programs had to be done. You had to record, edit, and then play back on a weekly basis. But here was an opportunity, and she had younger people around her who knew about, who knew the internet and how it worked, and modern technology. And she used modern technology to build the program up. And I was very, very happy and very proud because really it showed that my time had actually come. That it was just about
To a true
the right
end,
time,
a beautiful
the
end.
right time to do it. It was. I had fought a lot on this,
Right.
you know. There are some of the fights that I haven't mentioned, but quite a number with all kinds of people, all kinds of organizations, you know, to just to ensure that the program stayed. So again, to go back to that question you asked about whether I thought it would be a one-off thing or whatever, I
Right.
hope you have your answer. You've had your
Yes,
answer now.
please.
It
Yes,
wasn't
please.
meant to be a one-off thing. Otherwise, with all those challenges that came my way, I would have
Would
just
have
said
blown me
that
up.
is yes. But even at that time, we also went to the JHS with Kiddie Quiz,
Right.
which ran for some 10 years or 12 years. And then again, we lost sponsorship. And then we also had the University Challenge. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Yes,
University
please.
Challenge for the universities. And then we had for the technical schools, EduTech, you know. So we've had uh, quizzes at all levels: JHS, secondary school, um, university, and then the technical schools. So that is the story of prime time. We've been able to institutionalize the quizzes. Now you hear on radio and television, there's a quiz here, there's a quiz there. Um, we also did. We even did for radio debates for secondary schools, which was sponsored by Goya. Okay, but
So the friendship with
we,
gold started way before.
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. With all these things, when there's a change in management or something, and
Right.
then new
New
management
visions emerged.
come in, new idea, with new they have new vision. You are not part of it. You know. So that has been some of the challenges, major challenges,
Right.
finance.
So, Wabi on social media says, God bless you for giving us such a wonderful and prestigious competition. I hope my school qualifies. He's hoping that his school qualifies for, I don't know his school, but he's saying that he hopes his school qualifies for this year's competition. Kwaku Buahi also says, Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu, your dedication to the organization of the competition is unimaginable. God bless you so much. So viewers, keep your
Yeah.
comments coming.
Thank
Keep
you.
your, if you have unique questions that you want the founder of Primetime Limited and the originator of the National Science and Maths Quiz to answer for you, please keep them coming. We'll ask him and he will answer for you. Today he's all for us. We are listening attentively to history.
Yeah.
History. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
since you mentioned history, I'll take you back a little. Professor Marian Addy did it for up to 19, up to 2000, up to 2000. Um, her family was in the US, so she took sabbatical and then went to the US. But she didn't just leave us, upstream. She actually found us somebody to take over from her and give us Mrs. Eureka MFA Adumako. And the first time we introduced her, I said, with a name like Eureka, you can't be anything else but a scientist. Because from everything that we know, Eureka was that was Archimedes who brought that word out. I found it. So there you are. So MFA brought some freshness also into the program. And then she had to go away to do her PhD. Um, so she left. And we were stuck once again looking for a quiz mistress. The story with Dr. and now Professor Elsie Kaufman, it's a very interesting one. One day she came to my office with Professor Francis Aloti and Mr. Jackson, who was at the maths department many years ago in Lagos. And there was a program they were doing that they were going to take part in and wanted to know if we could help with sponsorship. Unfortunately, we couldn't. But then I remembered when I needed someone. And I talked to Dr. Awatri, then Professor Awatri. I said, Nabe, MFI is going. We need somebody. But I've met this young lady. And I think that she will do very well for the program. Would you be able to talk to her for me? And he said, that's your program. Go talk to her. She was then at physics department. So I went looking for her. And I told her this was my problem, that I needed a quiz mistress. He said, but why me? Yes, Marianne did. Why not you? Why not you? People looking at you, seeing you on TV, would be inspired to also want to become scientists. And if you look at the picture, her size, did not tell you that she was a great mind, a big, she had that kind of capacity. So it was something that I was hoping she would take it, and that all the girls would see her. That who is that young woman? And she told me a story which amused me very much. And Elsie, I'm taking liberties to share this your story where some students came to your office and saw you sitting there, and then asked, where is your father? They wanted to see your father. And said, what do you want my father for? And they said, I'm asked to go and see Dr. Kaufman. And then going into Dr. and seeing this young lady sitting there, but why would she be sitting in the chair
In the lecture
instead of,
seats.
yeah? Well, probably they concluded that modern girls, modern kids, whatever, whatever.
And it meant
So
that they
she
had
said
actually thought, it meant that they had
they
actually
were
thought the Hawkman was a male.
was a male
Right.
and probably an elderly man. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, he's not in. He just stepped out." So they came back about an hour or so later and saw her sitting there. Said, "Oh, hasn't he come?" He said, "You are looking for Dr. Kaufman. I am Dr. Kaufman." Said they bolted out of out of their office. You know. And I said, "This is the woman I want for the program." And so she's been there, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And we have noticed that we've used only women.
Right. Right. At the national
One of
championship.
the one of, yeah, one of the innovations that Nana has brought in is to because now there are so many people, so many students, so many schools, to bring in new or extra quiz mistresses, so that the load won't be too much on her. Because one of those years, she had to do over 40 programs to get straight, and that took a toll on her voice. So now someone handles this. This one handles it. So we have three other female quiz mistresses. All right, um, Dr.
Telma.
Thelma, um,
Wenga.
Dr. Anita, and then uh, Gladys. Three of them, who play supporting roles to Elsie. So we have four quiz mistresses, and I mentioned with pride, four quiz mistresses.
Right.
Okay, so girls out there, there you are. You have role models, people that you could aspire to become one day. And once we were in Kumasi, when these girls were passing, we were doing it at KUST. Then one of the girls said, "This is the first time I'm seeing a female professor of science, and that one day I'll also become a female professor." And then Marianne called and said, "Come, this program is for people like you, to inspire you, and that is why I'm here." So I told Marianne, "You see why we picked you." So it's achieving part of some of the objectives that we set for ourselves. Okay. Um, but there's a lighter side of the program. Isaac, let me share that with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you know that the schools come over with prayer warriors?
I witnessed.
The first time we were in Kumasi, 94 March thereabout. Then there was a contest between St. Louis girls, St. Louis, and I think Wa Secondary School or whatever. Now, the girls assumed that we were coming from the north, they were Muslims.
All right.
That was the assumption. That was what they assumed. So, and they had these prayer warriors, and then they would go down to the basement and pray, and then they would be screaming, "Jesus, your children are in danger of losing out." You know, and it was Professor Autry who came upon them first, and then called me. He said, come and listen to what is happening out there." And the girls were praying fervently. And then after praying, they would come It was like they had gone for communion.
For me.
Very saintly looking. Come and sit down, And one of those years, I was telling this story to Opokwai, um, one of the teachers, and he said, "Oh, you think it was only St. Louis? We used to come to Accra with one bus, and it was all prayer warriors, you know." And he mentioned one of the competitions, I think against Presec, and they were trying to bind my little friend Edem Jakwasu and his team. Yeah, 96. They were
Yeah, 96, yeah.
binding them, you know. That was I had a good laugh. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. So there were
Right.
the prayer warriors, and then there were also cheats.
Mm.
I mean, in any competition, people would want to cheat, and this was teachers. You know, when we had true or false, what we did was that we had people standing out there watching, looking out to see if some students were whispering answers, or especially true or false.
Right.
There were these teachers, I won't mention their schools anyway,
Yeah.
who devised uh, means that when the question was asked, if I had my hand up this way, that it is true. If my hand was down, it's false. And it went on for a while. Then other teachers were watching, and saw that this is what was happening. At any time the man's hand went up,
The
his
answer is
school
true.
was true. Then there was this other teacher who had a hat on. And when he tied the hat, it meant true or false or whatever. If it left it on, it was the other way. You know. At some point, the schools themselves, teachers from other schools started watching, looking out for these tricks that the
Signal.
teachers had. Yeah, and one also used to stick a cigarette in
Hey.
his mouth. Yes, so it was like you'd be thinking, then you take out the cigarette, false. The cigarette up there, that is true.
Oh,
So
but
there be all
but
kinds of tricks.
even today, I believe it is still very difficult to fish out some of these schemes. If they really
Yes,
want to do it, it is very,
yes,
very difficult to mitigate
yes,
these
they do.
things.
So,
Yeah.
so what we do these days is that um, you are required to look at the quiz mistress,
Right.
not to look into the crowd. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Years back, we used to do it in such a way that then we would move school A, all the students from school A, to the blind side of their school.
They are contestants.
So you don't look directly into the school, and then the other one too would have the other school. Okay, but they got away, with all kinds of tricks. They managed. They managed. So while we were then watching the students, the teachers were doing it. While we were watching the teachers, the students were doing it, and some teachers made it a point to look and then report. Okay, so more tricks, more
It
tricks.
meant that. So it meant that. So I want us to look at the Nanes era, from the
Yeah.
history to the next era. So it meant that after the incident that happened with the traveling around Achimota School, the program had, if not for the regional championship, the program had not necessarily been held outside Accra. You-
No, apart from the regional competitions.
Right. So up until maybe
The
2022.
nationals, no.
Right. So in
Yeah,
2022,
2021.
when the yeah
2021.
2021, right, when the
Yeah.
program was first sent to Kumasi,
Yeah.
what um I mean, how did you feel about it?
Can you give me a minute?
Right.
Can you pause
Sure.
for a minute? I'll be back.
Right. Welcome back, cherished viewers. We are on the NSMQ Live Chat 2025 special edition with Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu, Chairman of Primetime Limited and originator of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Welcome back, sir.
Advice from 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. The
Come again,
history, the
please.
long history.
Right.
At a certain age, you can remember old things, but you can't remember,
The
things that
recent one.
happened not too. Yes,
Right.
that's true. I always wondered why my grandmother could tell me about 19 oh something, but couldn't
And
remember
not the recent
1960.
issues.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Right.
so I'm here. I'm back.
Right. So we're talking about the fact that up until from the incident that happened with the Achimota school students before the time when we used to have the northern sector
Which
competitions
which
and
which 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 Achimota students?
the incident with the daughter of the head of state.
Wesley Girls, and the Holy Child.
Oh, right. The competition, their competition was with Achimota.
No. The competition was between Holy Child and Wesley Girls.
Okay. So Zaneto was at Wesley Girls.
Yes.
Oh,
And
right,
that is
right,
why the
right.
minister didn't understand why a competition
They
between two schools from Cape
had
Coast
to be
should be
held
held in Accra.
in Accra. Right, right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So up until then, we so from then we never had the national championship going into another region until 2021 when the competition first went to Kumasi. So I was asking that how did that how did that mean to you? What did that mean to you? Taking the competition right from Accra to another region and starting everything from prelims to grand finale from another region for the first time.
Well, we had discussed the possibility of doing this. We had looked at it, for some time. The logistics had been a little daunting, but when it became necessary because of COVID and the rescheduling of school timetables and the the school program, we found that we couldn't get accommodation on campus in Accra because Legon was in session. KNUST had closed, so it was possible to get accommodation from KNUST, and that was the deciding factor. That if we can get accommodation here, then we should go. You know, so that was the main reason, accommodation, that we went to Kumasi. And KNUST, yeah, we had enough rooms for everybody to take to
It also
employ.
meant that okay. It also meant that the program had overgrown those logistical issues that were a problem initially.
Well, as the program grew bigger and more schools came in, from 16, 40 um, to 81 schools, and then now we have 135 schools coming into the finals. Okay, that meant that you needed more space, you needed more people to do um, to do the errands around, you know, and that is quite quite a big issue. You need a space. Where were you going to put them? You had 135 schools, right? Each school was bringing three students,
Contestants.
a teacher, and a driver. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you can imagine 5 times 135.
The maths people do the
And then
calculation.
that gathered at once. You are going to have to pay, to feed them and all of that. You have to ensure that they had somewhere to sleep, food was available, bit of planning, bits in quotes.
In
We are
quotes.
planning yes, a lot of them, and you would need a place where you can get all of them settled together.
Right.
You couldn't put part of them in Legon, or let's say Achimota School, part in Presec. When there were only 16 schools, you could host them in Presec because then they were holidays. And you have 135 schools with all these people coming in, and that wasn't all.
Right. Oh,
It is
right.
space. And don't forget, now that we have 135 schools, we have now invited private schools to take part. So some private schools are also taking part in the program, which has, it swells up the numbers.
The numbers.
So it's no longer 135.
Right.
Last year we
Okay.
had how many? 7 schools. So yeah, last year we had 157 schools participating. Okay, and you need a place that can take all of them. You know,
So
if
we had okay.
campus is better. Yeah.
Right. We had this question from social media. We all know, through following the NSMQ, you get to hear about Primetime Limited and all that, and some good work that Primetime Limited has done in Ghana space, in the space of Ghana, like the redenomination of the CD and some of these work. But then you get to hear of Primetime Limited properly in connection with the National Science and Math space.
That's a
And
bit.
we know that Primetime Limited started in 1993, just as the
Yeah.
National Science and Math quiz. So
Mhm.
Edmund Dankwatechi is asking,
For 36 years. 15 of which I was not paid. I think I heard you mention that.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
That is true. But the longest national service ever. Yeah, because even with national service, that's 1 year they pay. They pay you.
Yes.
Even though it may not come early, they will still pay you. But this was the longest national service ever.
Ah,
15 years.
so in comparison, if you compare it to national service, does that mean that all that 15-year accumulated salary came at some point?
No, it didn't come.
Right.
It didn't come. So I just forgot about it.
Okay. So we have this
I
from
love I love teaching. That is one. I love teaching. I like sharing ideas. Sharing. I love teaching.
beautiful.
So
Okay. So we have this from Doris Aji, and she's saying she's proud of you, Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu. It says you took a lot of sacrifices and courage. Thank you for not giving up on your vision. NSMQ is a national pride. I believe she's someone who has followed the NSMQ for a long time, or one of your students back at the School of Communication at University of Ghana.
thank you, Doris. Thank you.
Okay, so we want to delve into the impact and then legacy of the NSMQ. We would want to know which moment in the NSMQ, made you most emotional or proud. That one special moment that you felt, I'm really proud of myself for all these challenges that you had been through from 1993 to now 2025.
Uh, I can't say any single event or whatever. It's all been it's been a great time, even with the challenges, even with the difficult times. It's been a great time. I've enjoyed every bit of it. Um, every challenge has made me stronger. It's made the company stronger. It's made the national science and maths quiz stronger and better. So really, but I've some of the times that I've really enjoyed. Um, no bias, but Wesley Girls and Infantsville final in 1999. Wesley Girls and Infantsville 1999 was something that I loved, and I prayed very, very hard for Wesley Girls to win. Not only because my daughters are all from Wesley Girls and my wife is from Wesley Girls, but I wanted the girls' school to win. And
As
I
far
still
back
want
as
to.
1990.
Oh yes, every year, my greatest hope or expectation is to see a girls' school winning. Unfortunately, only two of them have gone to the finals. Wesley Girls
Yeah.
and Fancy.
In fact, about
Yes, and both lost. You know, so
so
that is what I'm hoping for. Looking forward to one day. That is one. And then there, I know you'd ask about my other expectations to go Africa wide. I told you in 2007 we did West Africa. By a trace of fate, it was Ghana, Nigeria, really, and we won all the contests. And after that, Exams Council, and I'll say it, Exams Council that sponsored it. The registrar at that time, Mr. Duri, was from the Gambia, and he was very interested in sponsoring the program. Again, thanks to uh, Professor Jangma, who was then the chairman of um, the Exams Council. Now, the following year, the person who came to take over as registrar, incidentally, was the one that I was liaising with in Nigeria. And because of the performance of the Nigerian, she refused to sponsor the program again. And in fact, I know on record that they didn't even show the program on Nigerian TV.
Nigerian television. Was it that
No, they
bad?
didn't show it. Well, somebody has to win a competition,
Definitely.
you know, definitely. So I do well for like this, and the program had to go off. So we didn't get the repeat of the West African Science and Maths quiz. I tried with Liberia. I went to Liberia. It was up and down here and there. You know, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you, and it didn't work out. I'm hoping that one.
Origin, the foundations of the NSMQ, the leadership and transition from the venerable, the erudite Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu to Nanekia Mensa-Bonsu, who is also doing wonders with the NSMQ. In her time, she won the CIMG Woman of the Year. That was just last year. So you know that she's
That's
also
that's
doing her. Yes,
yes,
just last year.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
and
we've
I'm
gone
very
through the
proud of
month.
her.
Right, right,
I'm very proud of
right.
her.
So,
I'm
right. So
proud
we
of the team,
mentioned.
the
Right.
prime time team. Yeah.
Right. So we've mentioned Nanekia, and then we know that you mentioned that Nanekia and the Wesley girls, girls school, winning the NSMQ. It's been a long time coming. And when they go to the
Too
WASI,
long.
they kind of yes, they kind of do well. So we wonder what the issue is with the NSMQ. Is it about stage fright? Is it about time to prepare with the teachers?
Oh, okay. Basically, time to prepare. It's a preparation period. The boys' schools, they can stay over during holidays with their teachers and then prepare. They're working throughout the night and whatever. It is not easy with the girls' schools. You can't, parents won't be too comfortable that it's holidays and their daughters are in school, locked up with male teachers
Male teachers.
all by themselves, going through, so they they are not able to do as much preparation as the boys would do because with the boys, the parents are okay, but some of them even are very unmatched, as it were. Okay, and the boys will travel for 3 days or 4 days, no problem. The girls can't do it. The girls can't do it. So the boys prepare, and then they get the confidence because they've met those schools before in their in the preparatory stage. They've met them. They've met each other, so they know each other, and they build confidence coming on stage. So that's part of the problem with the girls' schools, and I don't blame them. It's real. It's understandable. Okay, it's understandable. So I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping and praying seriously for the girls' school to,
Right.
you
So,
know,
well, we had word that, and it's obvious that most of the sponsors are watching us, most of our partners are watching us, are watching the live chat. And is there a particular word you would like to share with them so that they will keep investing in the NSMQ and even help us make it, take it to West Africa and beyond?
yes. To others, I'll say a very big thank you for having faith in the program and in prime time. You know, I always say that investing in education is not a waste of money. Investing in education is not a waste of money. This is science and maths. A lot of our sponsors have business that they need scientists, they need people with science background. So please, while you make provision for the prizes, also know that the program must be produced. Now, people believe that because they hear so and so, so to awarded to this school or to this student, to this other student or this other school by this company or by that company, so much money. The assumption is that prime time is making all these monies. No, and this is from some of the participants of science and maths quiz who went there. that they have a club there. The Ghanaians have a club there called Brilliant, Brilliant, Brilliant Club. And
Wow.
then they ask you, are you from? Were you also part of Brilliant? Did you take part in the National Science and Maths quiz? Then they induct you into that group.
Wow.
You know,
So it means they have so many NSMQ past participants at MIT to form a club.
gone
Wow.
through, and then some are still there. You know, you mentioned the universities, Princeton, whatever. You know, they've gone
Wow.
through. They've gone through. And do you know that some of the universities sent physics or
The
whatever of
feasibility.
yes, yes. It is theory. It is theory that propels the practicals. Otherwise, you know, you've seen some of the furniture that untrained carpenters do. Uh, yes, yes, it's true. Some of the the furniture sets, and then you see those that are done by properly trained uh,
Experienced professional
workmen. Yes, you know, you see the finish. They
durability.
finish very, very well, and they are durable. Okay, it's the
Yes,
same
sir.
thing. The same thing. Why would somebody be called a cook? Somebody else would be called a chef.
Yeah. Okay. So
They are
we
both,
believe.
they are both
Okay.
cooking. They are both cooking. But one has gone through some,
Training.
training, and taking examinations. Okay, sponsor to do it. That we are holding on to it. We are making it big. It is from here. Nobody's making it big. We've had to talk. We have to talk and talk and talk and talk. By this time, I want to say that seriously, that even Parliament should have passed a bill to make this a national program. That the state will sponsor it every year at all costs. That will be the moment that I've been looking for. Then we know that the National Science and Maths Quiz is really a national program. Yes, all the guys in Parliament, they went to school, they went to secondary schools. Their schools are taking part, and they make a lot of noise with their schools. And I know that, especially during the finals, a lot of them are not doing any work all over the country. People are watching, not only in Ghana, not only in Ghana. Because I get messages, calls from people. When is the finals coming on? When is the finals coming on? You know, and they are all outside the country, or mostly
Right.
outside the country. It's the only program that can actually take people off watching a World Cup match, and that I say on authority.
Authority.
The only program on Ghana TV that can take people off watching a World Cup match. Okay, and it is
Right.
true. So, our legislators, over to you. Let us make this a very national asset, a big national asset, non-political. Let's make it a big national asset. That is what I would want to see. That the National Science and Maths Quiz, you know, is growing bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kwaku Mensa-Bonsu. You have stated that in the next decade, you want to see a girls' school lift the NSMQ trophy. You have also
Not only
stated that
once, not just once.
not just once, several times. Okay. You've also mentioned that you want to see the NSMQ go to West Africa. You want to see that sponsorship is increased at a pace that we will not have to think about anything if you want to do the National Science and Math space, that everything becomes possible. And also, we've even started this that for the next, I mean, for the past uh, decade or so, GES has been at the forefront of the NSMQ, and we believe that if the legislature adds a voice to it, and now we have now it's possible to have a private members bill, and so any legislature at all can wake up and say that I want to make the NSMQ a a true national. It is already a national treasure, a true national
Amen.
treasure.
I'll say that. But let
Amen.
me just, I'm also looking forward to the day that my school